Welcome to Metamorphosis with Dr. Tassel Faith. In the next hour, you will embark on a journey to awaken your inner identity, remember the truth of who you are, and come home to yourself. Enter your transformative chrysalis, experience the fundamental change you need, and emerge a leader for your own life and for the planet. Align with your spirit and become the being you were always meant to be. Leap fearlessly into the powerful change awaiting you. Transform your world naturally and supernaturally. Lead with your magic, trust the unseen, experience quantum leaps. Metamorphosis begins now.
Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Tassel Faith, your priestess of metamorphosis, and you are listening to the Metamorphosis Show on the Transformation Talk Network. Please stay with us over the next hour and let us help you move through your own personal metamorphosis. So it is my extreme delight to welcome one of my dearest friends in the entire world, Mr. Jason Latham. Welcome, friend, brother.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
Thank you so much for being here. And I'm just going to start by sharing Jason's amazing background. Jason is a kundalini yoga teacher and meditation teacher, a Reiki master, and an Ayurvedic practitioner. Jason combines these modalities and other intuitive approaches to provide support as we all journey through healing to our most full and authentic expression. And Prem Bir is Jason's spiritual name. It means I am a spiritual warrior with infinite love as my goal. I'm already starting to cry. Jason sees himself as a warrior on the path of love and relates deeply to the Chiron archetype, the wounded healer. He has had to learn to love all parts of himself, light and shadow, as he has traveled along his spiritual and healing path, the path of the spiral. He has felt a lifelong call to seek the creative source, God, the one that has always burned like a fire within him, even when connection didn't feel possible. Living with an open heart, no matter what the circumstances, has been a constant invitation from within. Welcome, my dear brother.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. It's good to be here with you.
Thank you so much. And I'm tearing up, I think, already because the topic of this show is grief and moving through grief after the death of a loved one. And my loved one, my partner, died last Friday. Today's about 5 days later. So this is very raw, very real. And I felt spirit really guiding me today to just share what I'm moving through, and you and your dear partner Claudia have been really with me this whole time over these days, and so I'm just so grateful for your presence and your amazing insight and wisdom to sort of share what we're moving through, in the hopes that maybe this could be helpful to others.
Yeah, because life is not just one color. It can be so easy, especially getting on, the whatever spiritual path it is that any one of us kind of embark on. It can be so easy, and I will totally, cop to that. Early on, I thought it was just going to be this, everything's just going to kind of get better and feel better and all kind of light and love, and I think those things are true. It's an aspect of truth. It's an aspect of the experience. It's part of what we dive deeper into, but really it's like we dive deeper into everything. And this concept that we've talked about before of magnitude or depth of, what am I moving to greater magnitudes of experience of both bliss and joy and love and service, and can I hold more of like my own pain that comes up? Can I go deeper into my own shadow when life is asking me to do that, because it's all the capacity that I develop for moving into shadow and grief and maybe places I'd rather not go translates then into my capacity to hold greater depths of love and compassion and beauty and some of those things that might seem to be preferable, to our very human self. So it's very sacred territory that you are in and that we are going to discuss today. Deeply beautiful, not easy.
Yes, yes. And there's really probably no one I'd rather discuss this than with you. And you and I have known each other, I think it's about 5 or 6 years at least. And we've just, I would say, been walking hand in hand, brother and sister, on our spiritual path together through many joys, through many challenges, through many griefs. And we've talked many times about what you just shared about this concept of magnitude. And I keep hearing the word like carving, that I'm being carved out internally. I'm making space for a greater experience of pain, which I believe will also create a greater experience of joy as well. Becoming a greater vessel to hold it all.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've been trying to do over this time period is really feel without my thinking mind taking over and trying to fix how I feel, trying to make a plan for how I'm going to move forward in my life, or all the things the thinking mind wants to do to ease the pain, to bring sort of comfort to the pain. But I'm really trying to be present with whatever's coming up, including at times very excruciating pain. Mm-hmm. And I've been using this phrase, I am aware of feeling, let's say, heartache. I'm aware of feeling heartache. And then I say, and sometimes I say this out loud, then I say, thank you. Thank you for showing me this. Mm-hmm. Which feels very honoring to the experience, mm-hmm. and to the pain and all the other feelings that are arising. And honor, you and I have talked about this a lot. Honor is one of my favorite practices, to deeply honor whatever is arising in us, no matter what situation we are in. And so that's really what I'm leaning on right now. That's what I'm doing. I'm just being present with what's coming up and riding the waves of the grief as they kind of lap at the shore.
Yeah, it's very, I guess one word or phrase that comes up is like, it's very primal work in a way.
Yes.
The thinking mind wants to plan and compartmentalize, and none of that's bad. But it's almost like that invitation to sort of stay in your primal self and just feel and allow those feelings to move through.
Yes. What does that word primal mean to you? I really love that word.
It's a good question. Yeah, I guess I think of it within myself. That word means like things like very, very deep, sometimes too deep for words. It's like at the very core of my kind of human existence and experience. So it's almost like where that point of where soul and body meet. Yeah. That feels like a very primal point to me. So yeah, deeper than words. Words can maybe try to express and kind of try to get at some of that primal experience, but sometimes words just don't do it. They don't do it justice. And so sometimes all that can really express that primal experience is things like silence, just kind of silence, being with, sitting with, allowing in spaciousness, all of these things to arise. And other times just get kind of, to use the word again, like primal sound. could be just vowel sounds releasing, or
yes. If you don't mind, I'll just jump in with what you just said, because you are the one who taught me this. You are the precious friend who taught me to make sounds, to vocalize, to wail, to almost feel like an animal releasing deep wounding. And you've also talked about how animals, if they've been through trauma, they will almost immediately shake and just physically release that energy. And so I've been doing that, and it has felt very, very cathartic, very releasing. I have a room in my house upstairs that feels sort of the most isolated from, say, my neighbors, where I've been going to really just wail and scream and bang on the walls in hopes that people can't hear me quite as easily.
Right, right.
But yes, this primal feelings, like feeling the primal feelings and engaging in them, and almost dancing with them, being present with them, allowing them to fully express, allowing them to blossom through me. It does feel that it's helping. It does feel that it's moving energy through me.
It's beautiful. Yeah, it's like it's taking a primal approach to what really began as primal in the first place. I mean, to even speak to, your connection with your partner, Sean. I mean, as human beings, that is very primal. A deep connection from one to another.
Right.
Not just transactional. Going to the store and buying milk from someone. That's a connection with another human being, but that's more transactional. So this deep relating, this deep seeing and being seen, that's a primal experience.
That is such a good point.
Like, we can use words to describe that, but the actual experience of it, again, is this is what's coming to me, is this point where soul and body meet. That within myself, connecting with that point in another, that's not something that we experience every day. That's something that some human beings don't experience much in their lifetime. So that experience in and of itself is a deeply primal experience. And now that experience, at least at this level, of human expression, is I'm not going to say it's no more, but he has passed on. And so that aspect of connecting or knowing Sean has transitioned. And so what was a primal connection and experience in its connection now needs primal expression in moving through, in the grief and the loss. And
is such a great point. That is helping me understand more what I'm experiencing. And I'll just say that, yes, my connection with my partner, Sean, yes, felt very primal, felt two souls connecting and merging, and just on every level, very, very deep connection. And yes, and then for that connection to transition into a different type of connection that is not physical, is deeply heartbreaking, is deeply a deep primal heartbreak to feel that connection is lost. Although I do believe it's not. I do believe it's never lost. I believe his energy exists on the other side of the veil now. And I've actually already been connecting with him, which we can maybe talk about later on. It's very interesting. So actually, even that part is a little confusing to me, because I have been connecting with him on the other side in his spirit form. So it's even a little confusing to me. Like he's gone, he's not gone. His physical vessel is gone from the planet, but he in spirit form is very much alive. So I don't know. I think just spiritually, to me, it's even a little sort of confusing. Immediately the same day, and you were with me and and Claudia, your partner, there were points during the first day where I kept saying, where is he? Like, where is he? Where did he go? When will I see him again? How do I connect with him? And I would think, and I remember my mother, when she lost her father, who she was very, very close to, I remember her saying exactly the same thing. It was very heartbreaking. I was much younger, and I just remember her saying, where is he? Where is he? And I think this must be just such a common reaction to the passing of a loved one. It's so hard to comprehend that they were there. And yeah, it's mind-boggling, especially if it's unexpected, like the Sean's death was unexpected.
Right.
So yeah, so I think I'm also just in a period of recalibrating, reframing my relationship with him. Where is he? What's happening with him, and what kind of relationship can I have right now with him? And will that deepen? And it's very, very interesting. And I have never really pursued a relationship with a loved one who has passed. This is the first person very, very close to me, besides say grandparents who has passed. So I have never, this is my first foray into this territory of relating and communicating with someone on the other side.
Yeah. Definitely new territory, new way of not just thinking, but yeah, of relating, of even stepping into, is this even possible?
Yes. And I'll just share a couple little things because I find it really interesting. Within 24 hours of his passing, my oldest daughter, who works at Crumble Cookie here in Nashville, great place, great cookies. She came home from work and she said, I have to show you this customer order that came in. And she showed me a picture of this customer order, and the order said it was exactly my partner's name. It was Sean Kelly was ordering these cookies. And the order right before that was Sean. Yeah. And it just felt very much like, hey, I'm still here, and I'm reaching out to you, and here's my name. And of course I started to cry, and it felt very magical. And I don't even know how someone on the other side does that. I don't know how they orchestrate that. It's so there's already been some interesting reach outs from him. So yeah, this is just, it's very new territory. I'm grieving. I'm working to establish a new relationship with him. And at the same time, everyday life is continuing on. And this is an interesting part, I think, of our culture that I think is a very modern aspect of our culture, and not really present in more indigenous tribal communities, that we don't really stop when a tragedy happens. We just keep it just, everything is the same. I'm still working. I'm still taking my kids to school. I don't know how to stop that. My responsibilities.
Still happening. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So that also feels so bizarre.
Mhm. Backwards.
Yeah, to be in very deep grief and bursting into tears, but yet everything is still plodding forward. And I can certainly see how it would be so easy to not feel the grief, because it even seems hard to sort of make time to have the experience of fully feeling in our very busy Western lifestyles.
Mhm. Yeah, one thing that's coming to mind, and I'm not in deep knowledge of this culture necessarily, but like in Hebraic culture, sitting Shiva, like if a family member passes, I believe it's 2 weeks. It's a period of 2 weeks that there's basically nothing expected of
Wow.
the immediate family members of the loved ones of this person that passed, and it's called sitting Shiva. And
Wow.
other people bring food, and kind of just gather around this person or this family, like a village basically, and
Yes.
they're not expected to be active, and there's not even that expectation that they put on a happy face. It's like, no, like, wail, be in your grief, let the truth of all that be known within the safety of this community basically. And yeah, we don't do that.
That is so beautiful, and that would be really helpful for me right now to have 2 weeks of that type of experience. And I don't know, just I feel like my heart kind of breaks for any one of us who experiences a deep tragedy, and we don't really have the space to do what you just described. It just feels that we're creating more tragedies. It's layering sort of trauma upon trauma.
Mhm.
Um, and I do know sort of enough from my own spiritual path that I'm going to need to feel everything. So I will make sure I do. But I think so many of us might not even, fully be aware of how important it is to feel everything and to take that time. And I don't know. I feel very frustrated with our culture
Hmm.
in this experience. I feel really frustrated.
Yeah. Yeah. If you would feel like sharing, what has that been like for you? I mean, do you feel like you have had to just sort of jump right back into responsibilities? What 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 has that sort of been like and felt like up to this point?
Yeah. I'm a single mom, as you're a single dad too, so we both know what that's like. And my ex-husband is amazing and has been very supportive. He's also very busy. He's a surgeon and he's got his work to do. And I don't have any family here in Nashville, and I'm actually not very close to my family in general. Um, so I just hasn't really felt like I'm able to release myself of my responsibilities during this time. I have 3 kids and dogs and a therapy practice and courses that I run. But it's interesting because I can also see that it is in a way also my own limiting beliefs and my own probably programming that, oh, I need to like just keep going. So I think I probably could step back more than I have, but I think I find that hard myself too. I'm not used to doing that.
Sure.
And I don't really know how to totally make it work. And yeah, so I wouldn't say I'm great at doing that, and I'm not sure logistically how to do that given my life and the support systems that are in place. And so just part of me, I guess, realizes I don't really have a plan for something like this. I don't have it thought out like what I would do and now I'm in this situation. I don't know, it's always like, oh, just move forward and just take care of things and just, so even that's kind of interesting that I don't know, it'd be nice to sort of have a plan in place. If something really difficult happens, what you would do and who you could lean on or ask, and like how you can make sort of a tribe come together in these moments. And yeah, I don't really, I haven't done that. It doesn't feel tangible to me right now. And then I think what also maybe also contributes to this too is I was not living with my partner. We had a long distance relationship. So maybe even myself, I'm minimizing it. I'm minimizing maybe the effect of it. Oh, we weren't living together, so maybe it's not as tragic or something, or maybe I don't deserve to step back as much. I don't know. It's just all these sort of thinking mind aspects of it. I don't deserve, we weren't living together, so
I only get a couple of days to grieve and then I got to move on or something.
Right. I don't really, yeah. I know, it's also interesting. And I think I just need to go back to just feeling whatever I'm feeling, and just like, how can I love myself right now? How can I take care of myself right now, given my overall life situation? And
those feel like great questions.
yeah, and like how do I honor the whole experience, and how do I help my kids make sense of it? And because part of me also I feel guilty as well. This is so interesting. I feel guilty towards my kids that this happened, and that I'm sad, and that I'm moving through something, and that I'm bringing them something so like painful that now they're going to need to deal with. And even telling all of our mutual friends that he has passed, I felt really uncomfortable about that too. I felt I really enjoy bringing good news and spiritual little tidbits of wisdom that I've, come across. And I like bringing, the light. And I know the light, to me, you could say the light and the dark, but I think the light, to me, it just contains all of it. It's just the full spectrum light of life's challenges and sufferings, or pain. Maybe it doesn't have to be suffering. And then life's joys as well. But I just noticed that I feel really uncomfortable telling people that he has passed, because I know they're going to be sad. So, and I guess to me, it kind of ties into what you said in the beginning, that even on the spiritual path, we may tend to think, oh, just things get easier and we can just handle things, more calmly, or with more presence, or we've gained this spiritual fortitude and groundedness, and this hope maybe that life gets easier in a way, right? And it does seem, I almost hate to say it, because it's not really necessarily what my human wants to experience, but it does seem that my life has, I would say, has gotten richer, is what I could say. It has gotten richer. The magnitude of what I experience and feel has deepened enormously. And then from that, who I am and my consciousness and what I'm able to hold and bring to the world has also greatly deepened, which is beautiful, a beautiful gift.
Excuse me.
but I guess, and even say vis-a-vis my children, who I feel there's a part of my human that feels guilty for bringing this situation into their life. But if I can see it through that lens of how is this deepening them? How is this carving them out? How is this helping them hold greater space for themselves and others and be these beautiful, deep beings? Then I'm like, okay, actually, it's okay to bring this to them, because this is part of life. Death
Yeah.
is part of
Yeah.
life.
For you to be able to really truthfully and honestly and authentically go through something like this, and to go through it visibly, I think there's a fine line of not that we want to just dump all our stuff on our kids, but it's not also not healthy for them to not ever see us go through anything.
Yes.
Because we can almost set up this sense of like, oh, okay, well, my parents they're this sort of superhuman thing, and they within themselves may go through some things and see that as like less than or something. So for them to see, us being human, going through these very human, ups and downs and joys and pains, and but then for them to see how we go through it.
Yeah.
Do we numb out? Do we just sit for days in front of the TV? Do we get into substances? Do we go into workaholic mode? Whatever. Or
Yes.
are we just very much kind of like in ourselves? If it's tears that come up, then it's tears that come up. If it's needing to talk a bit about the experience, doing that vulnerably and beautifully, and so I believe it's a gift to our kids, to, in a number of ways. Number one, it's like it's not only is it okay to be human, it's beautiful to be human. It's beautiful to travel through all these landscapes of our existence, and it's okay. There's no need for shame.
Yes, I so agree, Jason. What
Hot.
comes to me is just this phrase: I want to be deeply human. I want to be deep in my human and experience the full spectrum of the human situation, the human life.
Mhm.
Of course, with a spiritual perspective as well, which was really helpful. But yeah, to not shy away from the experience, from feeling the deep pain, if that's what's there. And you're so right. I know growing up, I don't think the people in my family of origin maybe had the tools to feel, or to even know that they should be feeling. And I remember often just not understanding what was going on, because they might have seemed very sort of closed off, or even angry, or just very distant. And I didn't know what they were experiencing. And it seemed like they were experiencing something, but it was all sort of being suppressed and hidden away. And maybe there was shame or guilt. But I agree with you. And I realized this actually during my divorce, which was a very difficult experience. We had a lot of custody battles, really, at the time with my ex-husband. And I noticed that this is before I had some more understandings about what we're talking about. I would sometimes be so stressed and upset and sad, but it would come across as anger with my kids. And what I realized that for me, I think I thought anger was more acceptable than sadness with my kids. And once I became aware of that, I thought, oh my goodness, it's okay to show them sadness. I think I felt really uncomfortable showing them sadness.
Mhm.
Maybe if I, started to cry in front of them, not that I would just sort of sit there sobbing in front of them, but, if I just burst into tears and couldn't hold back my tears, I think I felt really uncomfortable about that I was letting them down in some way. And that anger somehow felt, well, it's like I'm more in control or something. I'm not as vulnerable, or I'm in a way more together. If I'm showing anger, it's like more powerful or something. So I really became aware of that. And once I became aware of that, those sort of angry episodes, and there weren't that many of them, but they really went away. And since that time, I've been able to be just more in the true feeling, the core feeling, which, often is sadness, or, grief. So that's how I have been with them through this experience. I have burst into tears in front of them. They've seen me cry. I've shared with them how sad I am and what I'm feeling, and that's real. I mean, what else would be appropriate when your partner dies? That's what would happen, and to show them all of that. And I decided that next week is his funeral in Canada, and I'm going to go, and I'm bringing my 3 kids with me. And it happens to be spring break for them, so it's sort of this beautiful divine orchestration that we can all go, and it feels like it will be a heart-wrenchingly beautiful experience, with for all of us. And I'm sure it'll be painful for them in certain ways, and obviously for me. But it just feels very sacred for all of us to go together and share that experience and talk about it. And I think especially for my son is 16. I know your precious sons are about the same age. I have seen my son as he has become an older teenager. It seems like he's been swallowed up into male American culture, where it's not necessarily so easy or condoned to show sadness, to show vulnerability, to cry. He goes to a prep school, and it's there's just a certain energy about the male culture there, about being really tough and strong and manly. And so I'm kind of, in a way, it sounds a little strange to use this word, but almost excited for him to maybe have some space to feel more deeply these other types of feelings of sadness and whatever else comes up for him, but just for him to have space to do that in this situation.
Yeah, to experience his own like masculine strength in maybe a different way, or in a
Yes.
in a way, like, instead of a perception that, well, I'm just not supposed to have or not supposed to express these feelings, and that's masculine. To experience it as, okay, these feelings may be coming up either in me or in someone else, and I can just be with it. I don't have to put it down. I don't have to run away from this. I can just be with it. I can just hold it.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Masculine strength.
And I think you and I have talked about this before, but what I have found with myself and with the beautiful clients I work with, that even the deepest pain that comes up, as you said, when we are with it, when we are being with it, not running away from it, not numbing out, just really sitting with it, holding it, there is a peace. There's sort of, to me, I don't know, I kind of envision just like a peace that wraps around that experience of feeling that pain, because it's so true. We're being so authentic. We're showing up for ourselves and that pain. And there's just this holy, sacred peace to the experience, even though it can feel very painful. There's an integrity there. There's a wholeness there, holiness there. When we are with what is in the external situation, and then internally what is arising, there's solace relief, respite in just being with the pain.
Mhm. Honestly, I feel like that could be basically what my definition of spirituality has evolved into, is just being with what is as fully as I possibly can, letting go of judgment about what situation is, letting go of any sort of preconceived, ideas I had about, oh, well, it should have gone this way or it should have gone that way. This would have been better. I'd be, a better spiritual practitioner or whatever if this result would have happened, and just letting go of all that, and just being with what is in, in, again, words sort of fail, but in qualities like spaciousness and compassion and unconditional love and clarity. And that doesn't mean never doing anything, but for me, it has been more like a discernment that comes about, is it time to be active? Is it time to do? Or is it time to just sit and be and just hold what's happening?
Oh my goodness. I feel that was a total drop the mic moment from Mr. Jason Latham. I love what you just said, and I agree wholeheartedly with you. Yes, this is, to me, spirituality too, is being with what is, without running, without the thinking mind trying to make a plan, with being present to it. It's it sounds so simple in a way, and yet so challenging.
So easy to run.
So
So
deeply challenging.
easy to run in like these little micro ways, even if it seems like, oh, I'm not running, I'm here, but like, oh, there can be these little internal ways where it can just be so easy, to turn away from what's happening.
So easy. I say this often. To me, it feels like there is no more courageous practice than what we're talking about, than to be with what is and to feel perhaps the uncomfortable feelings that come up. To me, there is no greater courage than that. And to me, that's like the new sexy is seeing people being able to do that is very, I admire it, respect it so much. And it's what I always want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I want to have that courage to be with what is, and not bypass.
Yeah. And it all feels related, because the more that we are present with what is, again, the more we're cultivating this magnitude, this ability to hold in every direction and to hold things simultaneously, like to even move into a place of like, okay, well, if I'm holding some sadness here, that doesn't mean that I have no space for a joy over here. Like, what does it mean to fully hold both? Like, it also kind of contributes to more of us experiencing our own, I'm going to just use the term like limitlessness.
Yes.
That we can be everything or, do everything. I don't think I was put here to be an NBA basketball player. So when I say limitlessness, I don't mean that, but to experience our sense of self, every new sort of expansion that we experience, even if it's an expansion into holding difficulty, holding grief, holding hurt, something like that. For me, at least, I'll speak for me. There are these points where I will have this realization of like, oh, I've held this. I've like discovered a new sense of my own like capacity, or my own sense of spaciousness. I thought maybe I could hold something like this, but I actually know now. I've actually gone through the experience. I've actually gone through this sometimes fiery experience, and I'm seeing myself come out the other end, the other side. And it contributes, for me at least, to this knowing now. It's like, okay, I know that I can hold something like that.
Yes.
It's not a cognitive kind of wondering. It's not a question anymore. It's like, I've gone through it, maybe very humanly, very imperfectly, but I've gone through it, and now I know I can hold that.
Yes. I love to call these experiences initiations, because it makes them seem a little more fun in a way, and more meaningful, that there's a point, there's a significance, there's a gift in every one of these really painful, challenging situations, such as a loved one, a partner dying. And one of the gifts of this initiation that I'm in right now, it has forced me to look at life differently, in terms of just seeing the bigger picture, that we all are spirit. We all will return to the other side in spirit form, and in one way or the other, I feel I will be with him again, in one way or the other. So it's just, I guess, just forced me to look at things from a greater perspective, than the pure physical 3D realm that the egoic mind lives in. And in a way that's very freeing, to be able to sit more in that perspective, even the perspective that, in many ways we're just playing out sort of a play down here in our human form as spirit beings, and it's all temporary. It's all temporary, and we belong to God. We go back to God in spirit form, and this form is very temporary, is very fleeting. Not to say it's not significant and beautiful and wonderful too, but it's kind of forcing me to just take that perspective a bit more.
Again, that feels in line with, it's holding both. It's holding that it is deeply beautiful to be here in
Yes.
there's opportunity for expansion and experience of all types, the whole spectrum of experience, but then to also hold that there also seems to be more, and more that I definitely don't fully understand. It's mystery.
Yes.
It's the unknown. It's but to have this openness to, but that there is more, and I don't even need to fully understand all of that to be in an openness to that there is more.
Yes, exactly. To be open to the mystery of our existence and the universe. And my thinking mind certainly had a plan of how I thought things would go with my partner, and this is a big plot twist that I did not expect, and to somehow find peace in any of our plot twists, and to find the gift as well, and just this complete surrender to how life is flowing through me, and not getting too tied up in the story of it, of well, what I thought was going to happen and what didn't happen, and just being in the present, and feeling and experiencing and trusting that life is always flowing through me, and I'm really just along for the ride. and I don't know what beautiful gifts may continue to come in through this exact experience, and to be just sort of open to, my human wanted something, it didn't happen, but it doesn't mean necessarily that this is bad or wrong, or that something actually tragic has happened. It just means something has happened, and just being open to the magic and mystery of what is happening. That's what I'm trying to do.
It looks to me like you're doing it doing it beautifully. Just one foot in front of the other, one moment after another. Feeling, being aware, being compassionate toward yourself, toward others, toward, everyone, everything involved. And that's beautiful.
Yes, yes. And it is like really easy to get wrapped up in, okay, this happened, so it means this, and it's just awful. And how could this happen to me? And very easy to go there. But I'm really not wanting to go there. I'm really wanting to trust that this is actually a beautiful experience, all in all. That is what I'm choosing to believe in. That all in all, every experience has beauty to it. And great gifts. So that's what I'm choosing to believe.
Yeah. Well done.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm just looking at my notes if there was anything else I wanted to sort of share here. I wanted to share that Jason, you and Claudia were just held the most amazing space for me on the first day that this situation happened. And you like hardly said anything, which was amazing. I think everyone else around me has wanted to like say, it's going to be okay, or different things, which is beautiful. They're trying to help, but it was just so amazing that you just held this absolute space for me to have my experience. And you were just there holding my hand and being with me. And it was so beautiful. And so I just thank you so much. And we just have a few minutes left, and I want to make sure that we have time to for me to ask you where our listeners can find out more about you and your amazing offerings.
Yes, absolutely. So the best place to go for that is going to be to my website, which is www.prembirhealing, all one word, prembirhealing.com. And maybe that can be posted either in the chat or in the comments or whatever, wherever this ends up.
Yes.
The website, there's a contact form there. If anyone wants to email me with questions about whether it's energy work, kundalini yoga, meditation, kirtan, sort of sacred sound, chanting. There also are some events coming up. I've got a yoga, cacao, breathwork, and then sound event coming up. So really like diving into some deep heart space through all those practices, or all these different things, really supporting that opening of the heart. I'm also going to be leading the yoga portion of an upcoming retreat in Costa Rica in April. And so those types of things can all be found on the website. And then, of course, my dear sister and I, Tassel, have been going through a shamanic breathwork set of initiations, and then what will ultimately be a certification. So I'll be able to offer shamanic breathwork in private settings, and then also in groups. I'll be finished with that in June of this year. So some more offerings to come as well.
Oh, beautiful. And I cannot recommend Jason and his beautiful work with clients enough. He's just amazing, so open-hearted, so deeply wise, so loving. So I just really recommend anyone who's resonating to seek him out, and just a beautiful being to spend time with.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jason. Thank you for being my friend.
You're welcome. It's an honor. Thank you for being my friend. It's been an honor to walk this path together through all of this.
Yes, it has been my honor as well. I'm so deeply grateful to you and your heart and your wisdom. And thank you for coming on the show and talking to us about this experience. And I love you so much.
I love you too, sister.
And thank you so much to our beautiful listeners. Please reach out to me, to Jason, if you are moving through grief. You're not alone, and you're so very loved.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining Dr. Tassel Faith, Priestess of Metamorphosis, on your road to transformation and freedom. Each step takes you closer to becoming an awakened, empowered, courageous, and a moves mountains kind of person. Join us again, the second and fourth Wednesday of each month at 12 noon Eastern Time for more guidance and encouragement. Until then, lead with your magic, trust the unseen, experience quantum leaps.